Good afternoon, TCG fam. Charkow Lori here with BYOC. We're going to start out with equilibriums. We have Stocky Tom, who posted a 4-hour EQ. This nice drawing here. It is actually clearer on the weekly. We have a weekly EQ, which means it's even tighter. So the longer in place, the higher in space, or the longer the base, the higher in space, or it could fall rapidly once it gets out of this basing pattern. So a bull break would be 623. And then the next resistance will be 654. You have support at 519 and 493. If you look at it on shorter time frames, just want to warn or emphasize, I should say, if we break this 613, that would be technically a bull break on the 12-hour. But because this next resistance is so close by, 623, we need to break them both at the same time. So they want to break 613 and then rapidly thereafter break 623. So just be on the lookout for a false break if we'd break the 613 without breaking the 623 on Hexo. Next chart is brought to you by Charting Man Dan. Tesla weekly levels. We have resistance at 253.50 and 266.07, and then support at 218.36 and 211. The bulls showed a lot of strength at the end with that leaked email or whatever from Musk. And so you see that long wick on the weekly candle. So it favors the bulls right now because of the strength and momentum at the end of the week, but we need to break the price level to prove it. 253.50 would be a bull break, 218.36 would be a bear break. Then we have Nvda Monthly. Well, this is awesome. I love monthly charts. So a bull break would be 188.40, and then 193.47 would be your next resistance. Support 132.60 and 124.46. Thank you so much for this chart, Fitz. This is now top of my list. I love this chart. We like the longer the EQ, the longer the EQ, the better. All right, then we have HE Daily. Bird Dog is bringing a lot of value when it comes to futures. So he's pointing out the EQ on daily. So we would have a bull break at 66.92 and a bear break of 60.05. I really like this tightening pattern. Let's see, is it on a weekly as well? No. Multiple inside bars on the weekly. Okay. So that explains this tight EQ. This will be nice to watch. Any of your futures traders in the next 2.5 hours, this will be a nice one to watch. Google from Colin weekly looks like a potential cup and handle as well. He's asking. This doesn't really meet the criteria of a cup and handle. What we want is we want a big push by the bulls. So we'd want to see this candle up closer to this level where the bulls are showing extreme strength, and then they just take a minor pullback and they flag out here. That would be a perfect cup and handle. And of course, there's no such thing as a perfect cup and handle, but I wouldn't say this fits the criteria of a cup and handle, but a beautiful EQ. So we would have a bull break of 1267.91 and a bear break of 1147.24. Because of the size of this range, I'm just going to go ahead and make a probability statement that the probabilities we would set a lower high and then tighten up in this pattern because this pattern is so wide. We have like $120 range here. So I would say we have a higher probability of tightening up unless we have an extreme pullback and SPY, then we could go straight to a bear break or vice versa, extreme bull break. But the odds favor an EQ on Google Weekly. So stay tuned for that one. All right, Beyond Equilibrium by Smiley. 1 hour sloppy EQ. And then we had 160. Okay, let me just chart this real quick. Yeah, it is sloppy because that spike, but it's definitely getting tight. So a bull break would be 155.90, which was some after hours action, and then the next resistance 156.30, which it would have to break in short order. And you have support at 150.97 and then 148.90 on Beyond. Lots of volatility in Beyond. All right, then we got Chart Gal Jules. She's posting some wedges on Amazon. So on Amazon, the resistance 1749.12 and then 1771.49, and then we have support at 1723 and 1865. Let me just look at this real quick. What was her time frame on the 4 hour? Yeah, that's definitely a nice wedge. Really nice wedge. So wedges, the character of a wedge is when we get this action where we have a push down and then we don't get a lot of follow through. So this was extreme resistance, or excuse me, support break here. And then the bulls didn't get a lot of follow through. When you don't get a lot of follow through, then we start looking for that wedge action. All right, next one. Amazon Weekly Head and Shoulders. I had pointed this out last week in the room. We would want the characteristics of Head and Shoulders. You would want a little bit bigger bounce over here. The bulls can't even muster up a proper right shoulder, but a neckline break, of course, would be the 1672. So let me get your levels. So you have support at 1723 again, and then 1718.65, and then that resistance at 1749.12. Okay, NVDA. Let's look at this one on the 4-hour. So interesting. I've had these levels on my chart for a while and still coming into play. Prior resistance is now support. I'm not seeing a clear wedge on this one. I'm not seeing it, but we have support at 169.32 and then all the way down at 163.25. And then we have resistance at 177.70 and then 179.02. BA 4-hour. This looks like a possible triangle. So on BA, I'm not seeing a wedge at all or a triangle. This actually looks like a perfect bear flag right here, but this was after hours action. So you have support at 381.31 and then down at 380, and then you have resistance all the way up at 389.69 and 391. Just a warning out there to newer traders, Boeing, Tesla, they are very susceptible to news. So if you're in a bear position, for example, on Tesla, you would have gotten burned with that news, that Musk email, whatever. And then Boeing, they have so much issues with the 737 and news, positive and negative. So just be careful. And as newer traders, it's easier to stick with large sectors like SPY or QQQ or IWM to trade versus these individual tickers that you can get caught in these news traps that are unpredictable. All right, CGC, let me go. All right, we got Dan the Man, lots of MJ, bear flag, CGC is the leader. So let me map the levels on CGC. So your resistance is at 25.41, your support 23.10, and then 22.76. And your resistance after 25.41 is 28.89. Not looking good. Elevated bear volume. We've got a bearish reversal candle with that long upper wick of selling off once a high was reached and then they just sold into it. This is a very bearish chart. Let's look at the weekly on this. And if you could have been in a short, I was not. But here, this TCG bear cross, what followed through, 100% gain there. All right, the next one, we have Netflix potential daily bear flag. Wow. Okay, so on Netflix, your levels are your resistance 268.05 and then all the way up at 299.15. And you have support, a double bottom at 260.20, 260.39, and then their next support 252.28. The only thing that the bulls could hope for is that we've got decreasing bear volume, so maybe the bulls will get a little bounce reprieve here. Soybeans, we got Bird Dog, daily bull flag pennant break over 893 target, 905 breakdown 880, targets 866. Nice EQ. I have a lot of alerts to set for myself. Okay, again, you have resistance at 899 and then 904. You got support at 881 and then 880. Nice Nice pennant on ZS, nice EQ. Workhorse, we got James pointing out a bear flag. 302 would be a bear break of Workhorse. Let's get the other levels. So on the weekly, you have resistance at 357 and 460. You have support at 271 and then 258. Decreasing bull volume here doesn't bode well for the bulls. All right, then we have corn. Where am I? 1 second. On inverse head and shoulders, bird dog again with futures. Love the value that he's adding, he or she is adding to the room. So awesome looking inverse head and shoulders. So we have resistance at 377.4 and then support at 368.2 and then 353. So resistance 3774 and then 379.60. Nice inverse head and shoulders. Thank you, bird dog. Gold, we have a daily head and shoulders, and the neckline is at 1488.90. So your first support is 1490.70 and then 1488.90. Then you have resistance 1543 and 1566. I would say that gold, if gold were to approach the 1560 area, it would negate this daily head and shoulders. This will get interesting. I will for sure be playing this pattern. Tesco daily. Okay. Tesco daily bottom fish here at 89.01. Looks like a multi-bottom at 89.01. Let's go get you some more levels on Tesco. So you have support at 88.41. And then resistance 93.46, then all the way at 106.41. This is a really, really bad chart. Very bearish. I need to try to move over my drawing so I can see that RSI is pretty beat up. The issue with, you could bottom fish this, but you couldn't enter on a bear break, or at least I couldn't, because the RSI is so low that you would expect some type of short-term oversold bounce. So bottom fishing is definitely the way to go on this one. GWPH. GWPH monthly bottom fish watching $100 psych and then 90.14 for a potential monthly higher low. Daily and weekly oversold. Last 2 week oversold set the monthly higher low. All right, so Jay's bringing us GWPH. We have that 115.54, then $100 psychological. So what he's looking for here is this monthly higher low. And I would contend that it's a monthly lower low, Jay, because we set this low here. So this low at 151.32. So actually this is looking for a lower low on GWPH, but still pretty beat up. Really beat up name. And this is maybe vol climax here. This is some serious elevated bear volume. So it could be interesting around $100 psychological. I could see that trade for a potential bottom fish, but just be careful with these marijuana names. They're just not getting any love at the moment. XLV, we have Smiley pointing out a bottom fish of the 4 hour, the 88.19 support, build into a position with a stop below 88.19, RSI getting oversold. Be aware of a lower high trend. So XLV. Wow, it's really, I love this. Love this, Smiley. Love, love, love. You have resistance at 90.16 and 90.56. So what Smiley was calling out is if we were to get a bounce, expect a lower high and then possibly, depending on the size of the bounce, then possibly EQ out. You want to be cognizant. You don't want it to have a bear flag where it has a very weak bounce and then the bears are able to push it down further after they catch their breath. All right, LRCX. We have Fiona, buy this dip, bottom fish. Okay, so we're landing on the 26 EMA on the daily, which is at 227.37, and it stopped at 227.46 and had a closing of 230.08. So let's look at on the 12-hour. Dang, we just got no support. We need a level to bottom fish. So I would use the 4-hour Fiona. Nope, lost that. So 226.49 and then 225.10 could be some bottom fish levels, but be aware that just like with XLV, that what we're expecting is just a lower high. So I would expect a bounce here. So if we were to bottom fish these levels, come on, Lori. If we were to bottom fish these levels, I would still expect a lower high. So depending on the size of the bounce, if it was a small bounce, you could possibly anticipate a bear flag. If it were a larger bounce, then it would EQ out. And we may have a potential vol climax on that one as well, Fiona. Okay, SOX. Can you check the index for any pattern? Oh, wow. Okay. Fiona, this is looking like a cup and handle. It's not a classic cup and handle. What you want on a classic cup and handle is you want, okay, that's a poor drawing, but you want a bull flag here. And I would say this is pulled back a little too much where it's almost negating this bull flag, but this is an awesome cup and handle here, the cup, the rounded bottom. And then we barely broke it by 5 pennies, 16.25, 16. And then we pulled back. So we really need to hold this 12 EMA here at 15.1880 in order to validate this potential cup and handle pattern. So on shorter term time frames, ooh, 15.3171. Because this is such a higher priced item, when we're in the thousands, let's see, 15.32 and 50, a dollar break does not make a bear break for me. This is just my technical subjectivity. It's totally subjective, but my judgment call is it did not have a bear break and it's holding. So you have support at 15.3171 and then all the way down at 14.7036. You have resistance at 15.8538 and then 16.0831. All right, what do we have next? Ulta Daily. Got a little channel here on Ulta. Ulta has been on fire, and I would be really careful shorting Ulta. This has been some serious institutional buying, very programmatic. Sam has been killing this ticker. So just be cautious of that, but we have no resistance until 342. So the institutions have really been pouring on the buying in the recent days, and you have support at 239.89 and then 234.75, resistance at 246.46, and then of course all the way up at 341. Okay, then we have Bird Dog. LBS has a daily up channel. It either bounces here at 371 to the top of the channel or breaks down. Okay. Let me see if I can show y'all. So Bird Dog is showing this a channel on LBS. Let me see if I can recreate it. This is on the daily. Okay. I'm just going to draw this real quick, but this is what he's showing as a channel that's tradable on LBS. So you have support at 367.10, 363.90, and you have resistance at 393.50. If it could break out of this channel and break 393.50, your next resistance is at 381.80. All right, then Platinum has a Darvis box forming. I love this ticker. It's so much fun to trade. So he's just showing this range bound, this basing pattern that we're getting on Platinum. So for it to break out of this box, your first resistance is 964.30 and then 966.80. Your support is 919.70, and then all the way down at 842.60. Really low bull volume on Friday, so Platinum didn't get any love. It's getting saved by the 26 EMA at the moment. Then we have GF Daily, overbought on almost all time frames. This is just on fire. Potential blow off top into the gray zone. All right. So GF's next resistance this is a potential short that we've been discussing in the futures room at 145.15. And then your next resistance after that is 152.15. You have no support on the daily until 135.97 and then 131.15. We've had a ton of fun trading LE, and then some of the others have been trading GF. Cattle has just been getting all the love in the futures area. So thank y'all for your patience today with us and this delayed. I'm just looking at this bull volume. I can't even take it. This is amazing. I don't know if I want to step in front of those bulls. That is some amazing bull volume. I'd love to buy a pullback and go long. Okay, so again, thank you for your patience with us today, for not going live. We have family in town. We have football. We have life. But thank y'all for joining us for BYOC. I hope you have a great trading week. Trade logical price action. Do not trade what you think is going to happen. You will get burned. Trade price action. LPA, logical price action. That's it. Don't put your thoughts and wills into trading. I hope y'all have a wonderful Sunday fun day.